Thanks for tuning in, of course. Now, make sure you hit that little subscribe button right down there in the corner in order to get content. And if you would like to book a reading with me, soulworkwithjenny.com. So before I begin talking about this week's energy from the 30th of November to December the 5th, make sure you guys are paying attention because I am going live on YouTube. The next time offering free clairvoyant readings is Friday, November the 19th at 12 noon Mountain Standard Time, 11 a.m. Pacific, or 2 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to give you guys some predictions of what's coming in 2026 for you. So the only way you're going to be able to know is to tune right in here. Follow me on Instagram, Jenny G Cousins, and you'll get more notifications as well. So let's talk about what is coming up this week, right? Things are changing very quickly. You know, I've been talking about that for quite some time. So we are moving into this super full moon in Gemini this week. This is really going to shake things up. Like, you very well might not like where it's going. However, you're going to feel it body, mind, and soul in all many different levels. I'll talk about that in a moment. We are in Sagittarius energy as well. And thank the Lord that Mercury retrograde has ended the 29th, 30th of November. Thank goodness, right? However, it was more of a lighter energy. So we still have that after effect, as I call it, till mid-December. So just use a little extra caution right now, but you'll feel that things are starting to come more back in place with a lot less complications with technical, electronic, all these things. But you still have to be very much in awareness with what's really going to be shaking up. I mean, it's very easy to see what's shaking up in the world. Surprise, surprise, not, right? Not. So more truth comes out. That's going to continue over and over and over again. So as we are moving in on the 30th and the 1st of December, really take a look at that month of November to see what happened, what you really learned. November could have been a very difficult month for some of you. You know, that Mercury retrograde, I can tell you that, boy, it can shake things up in certain situations where you might have find, well, this isn't that bad. And then boom, that new moon hit on the 20th. It worked with certain people, and other people, it was like, oh my God. Like for me, I completely forgot about the new moon, to be honest with you. And I had to go out somewhere. Oh, dear Lord. Everything where I was going that day, it didn't work out. I ended up with the GPS somewhere down the highway, and I'm like, oh my God, I took the wrong turn. I had very low gas in my tank, and I'm like, oh my God, like, seriously, spirit. I'm like, oh, where am I going? Thank goodness there was a way where I could turn off. And I'm like, I was swearing and cussing this goddamn GPS. And oh my gosh. So it was really intense. And even another location I was going to, I'm like, this isn't going to work. Like, it took me forever. Like, half of my day I was driving. Where I was supposed to go, I wasn't finding, which I can understand completely. But then I'm get home and I'm like, what is going on? I'm like, oh my God, it was the new moon. Oh my Lord, no wonder why. Right? Sometimes I get busy. I just go and, okay, we're just going to do this, this, and that. Right? So there's different times and different days where you're like, what's going on? Why am I so emotional? Or, wow, this energy is really flowing. So this is why these videos are really important, because it helps you kind of pre-plan things of what days to work with what days to not work with certain things. So you might even find on the 30th and the 1st of December already, like, oh my God, like, we are literally just a matter of stones throw away before 2026 comes in. I will be doing a separate predictions video with predictions for 2026. as I get messages coming in from the spirit world, what I'm seeing, I start writing them down and so on. I've got predictions going on for the next few years, but I just stay more in the, okay, what's going on right now? So this is a time where you guys very well could be booking adventures. You know what I mean? You could be, of course, Christmas this month. There's different holidays coming in December. So you could be booking flights. You very well could be booking road trips and so on, being a lot more adventurous. You're going to be more drawn to people who really inspire you, more mentorship, more authenticity, because you have been letting go of certain people and situations this year. You know what I mean? That you're like, I just don't connect with that person or this and that anymore. I also have a group on Facebook, by the way. I keep forgetting about it. Higher Vibes with Jenny G Cousins. You can join my group. I put in content there as well that I don't normally put out on social media as much. So join me there because I can be very spontaneous and even do offer, boom, some free clairvoyant readings in that group just spontaneously. I'm just saying. So if you want to join my group, make sure you click to join. And I get on Facebook every couple of days or so. I'm usually in and off, not that long, right? So anyways, you're going to want to really expand your mind even more so these past couple of days. You're going to be more open to new things. You're going to be like, whoa, wow, I'm like open to that. You're going to find even your personal and spiritual growth. You're going to be like, wow, I've actually, you know, I've come a long way. We have Venus with Scorpio as well. So you're going to start seeing more truth within yourself and other situations rather than fantasy. We can all dream of things and fantasize over certain situations, but this is when you're going to start seeing more truth. And that can go either way, because when we start seeing more truth of situations, it can be like, oh, wow. It can be a little disappointing, but I would rather see the truth of the situation than to keep something going on and on and on and being fed a bunch of lies and deceit, or like whatever it is, right? Like we all have different things. So you're going to find that you're going to be reflecting over past karmic lessons learned. You're going to be drawn more to your soul tribe, more people who you truly connect with from the heart, that accept you unconditionally. You're going to be letting go of more people. That's been happening all year. You found that even people from the past have come back in November. All of a sudden you run into them, or you get a phone call, or or a message, or you could have been like, wow, I'm really feeling the need to reach out to this person. And just as I'm just talking to this too, I'm just going to ask you guys if you can just please say some prayers for Christopher. I'm not going to go into details why, because I'll get a little emotional, but I hold him very dear in my heart. So just please ask for a little bit of prayers for him. So sometimes I wished I lived closer to certain people, you know what I mean, especially when they live far, far away, to be there. So just, yeah, so let's just continue on. So start making some changes now, because you're really going to feel it. You know what I mean? Like when we have to make certain changes, it can be really difficult. There's always something we want to change with this or that. But when we have to make final decisions, especially when you're seeing your worth more, which you will this week, this entire week, you'll be seeing more and more and more of your worth. You're getting drained by certain situations and you're like, oh my God, now I got to do this and this and this and that. I don't want to be doing that anymore. I'm not getting anywhere with it. I'm not seeing results. Why am I continuing on with this when nothing's truly happening? With different situations, you'll know what I'm talking about. So you're going to be speaking more up. You're going to be standing more in your ground, and speaking more of your truth. So really look back, even back onto July to where you guys are now. Certain things that happened back in July that were disappointing, you're even going to see that even more. And last November, 2024, look at where you guys are now. So you're going to be starting to see, oh, that's why. Like this could have been a very challenging year for certain people because it was bringing a lot of things right to the core. And don't be hard on yourself. We all make mistakes. We all have lessons to go through. But that's the thing. When we start seeing more clarity and truth, we're like, boy, it's whenever something happens that is not that great, I'm like, what did this really show me and teach me? What did I truly learn from that? This is what lessons can do. It can really bring you a lot of growth. And you know how I was talking about spiritual and personal growth? You very well could be seeing that right now. So we all have different situations to resolve. So as we move into the 2nd and 3rd of December, you're going to find that your sleep is going to be a little light. You very well could be having more arguments over power and controlling situations, but just kind of be very careful of what you say. Whenever we get emotional, we can be like, rah, 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 the wrath of God comes out and da, 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 da. So this is when you might set some short-term goals during this time. I always talk about long-term goals, of course. However, this is a time when you want to set short-term goals right now. And short-term goals could be the next day. It could be, but set short-term goals this month for December, even more so, and this week. So certain things that you want to get resolved, do it now. It's like, okay, I'm going to resolve this now on this day or that day. I've had enough. But just be careful and more mindful what you're saying, because you're really going to get pulled to make some really, really big changes. You very well could be leaving, making a decision. I'm leaving a job. I'm leaving a relationship. I'm leaving an environment. I'm leaving a partnership, like certain things like that. This isn't working for me. So you're going to really feel, you could feel a little alone during this time of, wow, I feel really alone. I've asked for help with all of these things. And I'm just seeing it was been a big joke. I was getting used or I was getting taken advantage of, because they're not going to notice where, yes, I have. You're going to see, yes, I have been actually paying attention to this, and that for a while, and it's not working for me anymore. So you very well could be standing up more for yourself, and you very well could be also feeling misunderstood. It's like, I've been trying to talk to you, and my voice isn't being heard right now. Because some people don't want to hear the truth. Some people just want to, ah, ah, I'll just deal with it later, or I don't want to listen to you. I don't want to listen to that. But however, when certain people aren't listening to you, this is when it's like, how I say I observe a lot of different things. I just don't talk about it, and then when you start seeing this, you're going to be like, I'm done. I'm done. We all have these limitations, and we're like, I've worked so hard on this, and it's a joke. I'm not getting anywhere. So really pay attention to your intuition, because it's going to be a lot stronger this week. You're going to hear more incoming messages coming up. So, when we start hearing the truth and seeing more clarity, things are going to shake up, especially when that little voice inside of us wants to be heard, where we're like, nobody's listening. It's time for me to walk away. I'm done. So you'll get more gravitated towards your soul tribe, more connections where you're feeling you're being heard from your heart. You know what I mean? That happens. So as you're working on letting go and healing behaviors and toxic situations, as you're healing, you start bringing your power back. Your power starts coming back. And you're especially going to see where you have lost your power. And that can be like, wow, that can be very like disturbing. However, it can be a real blessing when you start to see this. So when you're having problems making decisions of what to do, pay attention to what you're really scared to let go of. I'm scared to end this relationship or walk away from my job or my partnership, or like whatever it is, what are you scared of? That's fear-based, you know? So this is where, again, that knowing my worth comes into place with all of this. When you really get upset, emotional, take that pause. What am I truly upset about? Like what's really bothering me? You only have control of yourself and your own emotions and your own decisions. Well, this was pre-written in the universe. This is going to happen. You can make decisions at any given time. Any given time. I've changed my destiny many times, believe me. I've had huge opportunities come for me and being offered to me. And I'm like, oh my goodness, let me look at the pros and the cons. Like I had a huge, huge life-changing opportunity come to me in 2025 this year. And I turned it down. People are like, are you kidding me? Why would you turn that down? And I'm like, there's reasons why. So decisions are very important, but don't make any rational, like, oh, I don't know. Just sit back, really ponder on that, because the 4th and the 5th is when the super full moon in Gemini comes in. Whenever we have a super full moon, it amplifies even more because it's a super full moon. You might be able to see it, if it's not cloudy, depending where you're at. Where I'm at, there it's winter, of course. You could be in the summer, so maybe you could see that full moon a little bit better. So you very well have to be really careful during this full moon, especially with what you say, because your communication is going to be off. So watch your words and just really set more boundaries, because you're going to be like, I can't deal with this. I can't deal with that. Turn your phone off. You can get back to people later. You might find that people are going to be gravitating you nonstop messages about all of their problems and their issues. And you're going to be like, oh my God, oh my God. Right. So this is when you're going to be going through more of your ideas, finalizing certain goals that you've been working on, finalizing plans. You could be like, okay, I've just finalized, I've booked that flight accommodation, or like whatever it is. And really speak from your heart. You know what I mean? Like whenever we have those off days, it's still important to speak from your heart. But whenever you're like, I can't deal with anybody today, don't. If you can't, don't. Because it's like when we're sitting back and we're struggling, it's going through emotions and stuff. Sometimes it's better not to talk to people, because we can say things that we regret. We all do that. We all go through that, right? Like whenever I got lost in my GPS, I was going to a location. I'm like, what? Knocking on the door. Like, why aren't you guys open? You know what I mean? This is a grand opening. Like, what? Like, what? Lady comes to the door. This isn't the location. This is the office location. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, I didn't mean to take it out. And I'm like, sorry. I said my GPS. I said, I'm just a little upset. It's not you. You're probably a really nice person and all. But this is also too when you're going to really see who you're becoming more. So when we start to see who we're becoming from our past choices and decisions, we can be like, oh my God, I'm not liking what I'm seeing. That can get really emotional, right? However, every second is a new opportunity to start new, to begin new. New moons are about endings. Full moons are about endings and new beginnings. The super full moon is going to be like, you know what? I want a new beginning. I just can't do this. So you could find that you're more ambitious with your career under this full moon. You could be like, yeah, I got to focus on my projects, or I don't want to be with this career anymore. I'm more drawn to be more of service. I'm more drawn to make these changes. So pay attention to your creativity, especially during this full moon. You're going to be like, you know what? I woke up early today, and actually I'm working on all of these things, my projects or whatever it is. Maybe some of you are putting up your Christmas trees and all of that. I actually had a time in the last week of November, I actually put up 2 of my little mini Christmas trees and decorations. Because last year at this time, November. I was moving into my new place and I couldn't because maintenance was here all the time. There were so many problems and issues where I was living. Oh my God. Still unpacking and all of these things. There was no Christmas trees or decorations. So I'm like, I'm going to be a little bit more festive this year, embrace that. So I'm like, okay, let me just take advantage and do that. I now have 2 hours, that window opens. Let's just do this. I even mailed out Christmas cards because there's no strike. Well, that could change. But last year, Christmas, Canada Post was on strike. It's always on strike because the government doesn't care. Don't even get me going on that. We want to keep this video positive. Don't let me talk about the so-called leaders because there is none. So anyways, so your emotions are going to be more intense. So it's going to be very exposed. So this is when you're going to want to continue making some rational decisions. What's working, what's not working. So you're going to be very conflicted as well, especially, how I said, I'm not happy where I'm at. I'm not happy where I am. I'm not happy with this, and that. So it can be you could be confronting yourself more that day. When something's not working, I always look at myself first. What's not working? Have I put in effort? Have I put in certain things to do all these things? Do I have other people that are doing these things? They're not been doing their job. Then get rid of them. Make these changes. You know what I mean? Start looking at it because this is a very karmic full moon. Very karmic full moon. So that's why I'm saying be careful what you say. I can come back on you, right? Emotions are higher, right? Karmic lessons we're reflecting back on. And you're going to be wanting to control situations even more. Let it go. Because when you surrender to what you have no control over, that's when the universe steps in. They're like, okay, thank you for letting go. We've been waiting to redirect you. We've been waiting to put you on different pathways and all of these things. But we wanted you to let go. Stop pushing and forcing this, especially with Mercury retrograde. That was when it wants us to slow down, really slow down to making decisions to lots of different things because 2026 is going to be a very fast-paced year. I'll talk about that, in a different video and stuff. So you very well could be wanting to reinvent yourself even more, making changes. It could be like physically, it could be like career, relationship, whatever it is. Just start writing it down, what changes you want to make. Don't worry about how and all of these things. Just start writing it down because you're going to also find, how many of you have even seen this? You're starting to accept yourself more unconditionally. Some of us, oh my God, I don't like this and this and that about myself. We can change ourselves, you know what I mean, with certain behaviors or actions or addictions, let's say, or whatever it is. So whenever you are struggling and stuff, you hold a lot of energy within, which can cause our chakras to get blocked and energy to stay stuck, especially when you're healing and dealing with trauma situations and stuff. So it's important to move your body around because if you don't, trauma and our emotion stays trapped. It builds up and builds up. So move your body around. Like even yesterday, I had to go for a walk. I didn't want to drive. The roads were icy and stuff. And I'm very close to the store. I needed to pick something up. And it was so hard walking because there's ice, of course. So I was walking like a penguin. I hate winters here. I can tell you, if I had the money, I would be away during winter season. I don't even have retirement money put away. And I'm like, oh my God, the cost of living and it's crazy super high. And I'm like, oh my God, right? So we start to get into that reality check and what can we do about it? We can start making certain changes and stuff like that. Like I'm on my own. It's just me, myself, and I. Right? There's a lot of us who are alone that struggle to stay afloat and everything like that. So it's just like just stay a positive mindset and so on and so on. Because when we start disconnecting from our body, this is when challenges start to arise even more and more and more. We don't see clarity because we're disconnected from our body, because we're traumatized. We're going through a lot of stress and all of these things. So what you want is for your consciousness to start expanding when you are surrendering and letting go of things you can't control. You know, remember how I said this is when the universe steps in and starts making changes for us, right? You know, and that can be hard to do. So let go of what you can't control, you guys. Like, I know it's hard. You know, believe me, I'd love to control the government, but don't get me going. Don't even get me started on that, right? It's like put that government in with the cost of living here and put them in with the work that we do and see how they can get by with no help. But anyways, we're not going to talk about that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull a couple of cards. I do not use cards when somebody books a clairvoyant reading with me. I'm clairvoyant psychic. I read into your past life. I'm an animal communicator. See where you're at. Give you some insights with what I see coming up. Help you remove blocks and so on and so on and so on. So for those of you who know me, you know how I'm at, right? I also get a lot of messages from the spirit world, like from your loved ones or animals and such. So let's just pull a couple of cards because I started getting some messages incoming right away as soon as I said that for someone. I never know what messages come through from the spirit world. It just happens and it comes through. It comes through. But I'll be sending a message to that person later. I'm not going to talk about it here on YouTube, but I'm just asking for prayers for Christopher. Okay. So let's just have a little chat. What messages are coming through from the universe from the 30th of November to the 5th of December? Not all of you are going to connect with the cards. Like, I didn't connect with that card, Jenny. Well, of course not all of you do. This is collective. You know, it also helps if you like my channel. If you do want to make a donation to help me keep my channel going, that I'd be truly grateful for that. You know, you can go to my website, soulworkwithjenny.com. You know, you can make a donation through, you know, like a reading, let's say. There you go. I mean, I'm not saying you have to do that, but I'm just trying to keep my channel going here. So we'll see just how that goes. So, because it costs me a lot of money to do these videos, to pay somebody to put them up and everything, right? So, anyways, November 30th to the 5th of December, what's the collective message? Trust, trust. Wow. Like, of course, trust the process. You know, things have a way of coming together in divine timing. You know how I said, like, when we lose control of situations, we get upset. We try to control it and force things. That's the worst thing you can do, right? You can only control your behavior and your actions and so on. Divine timing, trust the universe, start setting some goals. You know, it's like, wow, there's so many things I'm not happy with or I need to change. Start writing them down. You know what I mean? And then you can add on to it. Spirit, I need help with this, that. Ask the universe for help. But if you sit back and don't do the work to try to make changes, nothing will happen. You know, there's somebody that I talk to every now and then. They're like, I'm not doing a thing. I expect the universe to deliver and give me all of these things. And so there's been no changes in this person's life for 30 years. Right. And I'm like, okay, have you looked for a job? Have you like certain things like that? No, the universe is going to give me that millions of dollars lotto. I'm like, okay, how's that working out for you? But I'm just saying, you know what I mean? We actually got to work towards things to actually open up new doors and all of these things. And the universe has a way of delivering miracles. You know, miracles can happen in December, right? Christmas and all of that. So I've seen miracles, like, oh my gosh, like, believe me, I've seen miracles. I'm sure we all have in a certain way if we pay attention, right? So I'm going to pull a couple of crystal card. I brought my crystal deck card here because I was feeling the crystals. I gravitate towards what cards the universe wants me to bring to the table, so to speak, right? And especially with this full moon in Gemini, make sure you put your crystals out so to rejuvenize itself under the full moon. You know, open a window or like wintertime. No, oh my God, we'd freeze here. My pipes would burst, but put it on a table, you know, where the moon energy can come down. Yeah, but Jenny, there's clouds there. That moon energy is really strong, like full moons. I try not to go driving. Like, look what happened when I said on the new moon, like, oh my God, right? I try not to go driving on during full moons. I mean, yeah, we have to go out and go to work or go different places, but just use extra caution, you know, because emotions are high, especially those days, the 4th and the 5th. Just use extra caution and awareness, right? So, and I'm putting classes together too, by the way, for those of you. Those will be getting up in 2026. What's the message from our land of crystals? Labradorite crystal fell out. Oh, over here. Look at that. Labradorite, turquoise. Look at that. No, I'm not wearing that today. I do have labradorite. Look at that. It's hard to see here with the lighting. Lighting's not really good here. So pay attention to what crystals you get drawn to. This can be a very healing crystal for you, opening up your mind as well, to help you see more clarity, more intuition, and so on and so on. You know what I mean? Like if you're shopping for crystals, which one do I get? Whatever one you're drawn to. You know what I mean? Like every day I get up and I'm like, okay, what crystals am I feeling drawn to today? And those are the crystals I wear. Believe me, I have so many crystals, so many crystals. Oh my goodness. I love my crystals. I have really, really, really big ones. Big ones. I know. I don't go to the crystal stores anymore. No, because I have so many different crystals. I just stay away from that altogether. But wear whatever crystal you're really drawn to. You know what I mean? Like the people in the store can help you with that. Where are you going? You know, where you can look for it online. Usually the people who work in the stores, you know, they're more knowledgeable, of course, or, you know, sometimes they have the little information right there with what the crystal represents and so on and so on. So let's have a little chat here with the universe. What card, what message is for collectively? What's the message collectively for us to work? The message. Work through. What is the message? What is the message? Right away. Right away. The dolphin card falls out. This isn't an animal deck card that I'm using. This is actually one of my decks from Hawaii. So the dolphin card came out. Dolphins are very playful. Dolphins are very healing. I actually swam with the dolphins many years ago when I was in Hawaii. Oh, what an amazing experience that was. I have a picture of it. Beautiful creatures. You know, dolphins are healers. They help people out. You know, like even some people that like get in trouble in the waters, the dolphin can come rescue you. They're very playful. They're very intuitive. You know, like make sure you're riding the waves and going with the flow. Dolphin energy. You know, I did an interview with someone. If you go back and watch my videos, I've done a lot of different interviews in the past. There was Carlos who I spoke to. He had a near-death experience. I interviewed him, and a dolphin saved him. So if you go back looking on my videos, you'll see a lot of different interviews that I have done. You know, he's an awesome guy. Amazing. So if you're watching this, hi, Carlos. So let's just pull a couple of cards here. You know, I just kind of go by what I'm drawn to and pull what you guys should know, right? So what is the message collectively? Make sure you guys clear your cards as well before using them. I clear my decks before I do these videos, or else it just brings in your energy when you last use them or if you use them on somebody else. November 30th. to December the 5th. Psychic strength, like shield, talisman, and gold light. Like, wow. It's interesting. I literally was just going to say, for those of you who are intuitive and you've been really drawn to more of the psychic arts, and also to, maybe I should do some readings, or maybe I should, get some cards to start learning off of, and so on and so on and so on. That's one of the classes I'm actually teaching. I'm putting out, by the way. There's going to be several different varieties. However, this is going to be one of them that I'm also going to be teaching you guys how to do, open up your abilities and so on. So if you are considering or thinking of, like doing readings, buy cards, whatever decks your guys are pulled towards and everything like that, learn about it and so on and so on, and really listen to your intuition. I said that your intuition is going to be a lot stronger this week. Yes. Really pay attention to your intuition, especially when something's just, I don't know, something's not feeling right here, something's feeling off. Pay attention to that. So now, how many of you guys are subscribed to my channel? Share my video. Please make some comments, like my channel. If you wanted to make a donation, it helps my channel. Soulworkwithjenny.com. Go to the About page on the top of the corner that says About, and under that you'll see rates. You don't have to, right? But I gotta keep my channel going. I have to make some decisions here really quick with what I'm going to be doing with it. So anyways, thank you for tuning in, everyone. Make some comments, let me know. And how many of you guys are joining me live right here on YouTube Friday, December the 19th, to have a prediction for 2026. Namaste.